Hi, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris. I'm a V2K survivor who is doing a podcast about the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We have different people from different walks of life and backgrounds on the call that are targeted, and tonight we have Gokul with us. He'll be talking in a moment. He's agreed to come on. He's a TI who's a musician. And, of course, his opinions are that of his own and not that of Targeted West or DJ Chris. We're a peaceful work group that chills out and hangs out and talks about technologies, some gang stalking and directed energy weapons. We have a book club, and, of course, I've got V2K since 2002. But without further ado, we got Gokul. Come on in, Gokul. How are you?
Hi there, DJ Chris. My name is great. I see some familiar faces on this call, based on like the names that I kind of see in this free conference call. It is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to see all of you. I hope that you're doing well. I'm assuming that most of you are targeted individuals.
We all are targeted, and many of us have V2K, telepathy.
Yeah, in which case, I am terrified for you, and I'm sorry for you, and I'm terrified for myself, and I'm sorry for myself. I don't want to be sorry for myself, and I don't think any of you want to be sorry for yourselves, but that is the state of affairs. So, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, and there's a lot of things that we need to kind of reinforce, like, amongst ourselves, but I guess, like, maybe like I should talk to you about like what my experiences are, maybe how they be, maybe what they are now.
That would be great. Yeah, that's a great idea.
I should talk about what my experiences are now, maybe how they began, where I think they're going, and what I think it all means. And I should talk to you about all of those things. So,
that would be great. Go ahead. That would be super duper. Thank you for dropping by the way, and glad to have you here.
Absolutely, and DJ Chris, thank you so much for letting me on here and doing this call every week. This call, like, I know a lot of us, like, we struggle to talk to people about what's going on with this, and we struggle to talk to people who can really understand what it's like. Like, if you're a victim of V2K, what I think that like people fail to understand about. I don't know if any of you guys have done like a certain Googling. You can go on a website called backyardbrains.com, right? I'm not sure if all of you guys are aware of this. This is a website called backyardbrains.com, okay? You can go on backyardbrains.com, and for $300, you can go on you can purchase a neuroscience kit that's available for K through 12 students, okay? K through 12 students. On backyardbrains.com, and what you can purchase for that neuroscience kit is you'll purchase a set of electrodes and a BCI that can connect you to a friend of yours, so that you can remotely control, not remotely, but you can use those electrodes to control their body. So if I wanted to, if DJ Chris and I were in the same room and I had $300 to below, I could go on backyardbrains.com, purchase an electrode kit, and I could wire myself up to DJ Kit, and I could move his arms and legs.
That's wild. I've had people tell me they've been remotely moved, but that's crazy that you brought that up. That's mind-blowing. Go ahead.
That's the thing. It only costs $300 to do it.
Can you imagine what millions does? Yeah.
Exactly. People don't believe us, DJ Chris. They don't believe us. They don't.
No, they don't. But it's so obvious.
There's so much I have to say, right? There's so many targeted individuals on this call who have probably been told, have you tried meditating? Have you tried meditating? Have you tried just like not drinking? Have you tried controlling your mind? Have you tried sleeping more? Have you tried getting exercise? Have you tried doing all of these things? Dude, you don't get it. If somebody can mind control you, they are controlling your body. They are controlling your mind. They're controlling the electrical activity in your mind. There is nothing you can do. If I wire myself up to DJ Kit with a $300 backyard brains kit, okay, and I move my arm, and I'm the sender and he's the receiver, DJ Chris's arm is moving. There is nothing he can do. He will not be able to stop it. He can try all he wants. He cannot stop it. And so if any of you are receiving V2K and any of or slash synthetic telepathy, because we know like there's a Deloitte calls it synthetic telepathy, a lot of other people
call it synthetic telepathy.
That is fair. That is fair. Like
or V2K. I say V2K telepathy.
Right. Synthetic telepathy seems to be like if any of you have read Gloria Naylor's 1996, right?
I had that book. I just threw it out because the cats ate it. I'm not joking, but I read the book. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful book. I have it right here. Just for any of you guys who haven't
I like the cover of it. Yeah, I have the same book, but they wiped that book out. Yeah, about her neighbor who had cats, and the cat was pooping in Gloria's yard in her garden, and she just got this beautiful house out in the middle of nowhere, and the neighbors made her life a living hell. And then, of course, it's a fictional book, you have to realize, but it includes the NSA.
It's a fictionalized memoir. Like
but it has a lot of real pieces to it. It's incredible, the book. I read it.
Yeah, this is what actually happened to Gloria Naylor. She only calls it a fictionalized memoir because like she wants to be considerate about the people in her life, but that is what happened to her. She got put on a watch list, or she got targeted for no reason. She got targeted because somebody just like decided like they weren't gonna like listen to her when somebody like had pets. Somebody was violating her personal boundaries essentially, and so much of what happens to TIs is like a result of like people of TIs' personal boundaries getting violated. Am I correct, DJ Chris? What do you think?
Oh yeah, well I had my house violated by a helicopter at 4 a.m, and then 2 weeks later I get the synthetic telepathy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like
they violate it, and now they violate me every moment because they hear me and see me and look through my eyes and hear through my ears and read my brain thoughts.
And you didn't give them permission to do that.
I did not. No, I would never give anyone permission for this, even if they paid me.
Exactly. You don't want their money. You want your mind. You want
I want my autonomous, self-controlled by me body and mind. Yes, you got it.
Exactly. But these people, they want to question you on that. So with Gloria Naylor, she had this neighbor who violated, who without like thinking carefully, like she had a neighbor who had pets who violated her personal boundaries, right? And as a result of violating Gloria Naylor's personal boundaries, those pets died, and as a result of that, that neighbor had a connection to the NSA, and they put Gloria Naylor on a watch list and lied about her. They lied about her. And this is what happens to so many TIs. So my name is Gokul Parshuram, and I'm in a project called Hallucinojerks, and I'm a musician. And I'm sorry if I seem a little bit incoherent. I just came from like a really emotional, a very highly emotional like a meeting that I had with some of my friends. There's 5 of my friends in my life, and all of our lives are going to change like irrevocably as a result of some stuff that happened this week to us after.
Oh wow! And is it good stuff or bad stuff?
It's just crazy stuff. It's necessary, but it hurts. And but I'm a TI, and on top of everything else that I'm dealing with, it just hurts. And so I'm in a slightly emotional state. There's a lot I need to talk to you about. I need to talk to you about how my targeting began. I need to talk to you about like what my targeting is like now, and I need to talk to you about what my deepest fears are and what I'm hoping, on a daily.
Yeah, let's start with how did your targeting begin? Let's go ahead with that.
Sure. So how did my targeting begin? In most cases, when people get targeted, it's really hard for them to tell exactly. Like there's an amazing YouTube channel called Targeting Must End. Are you familiar with that channel, DJ Chris?
Not offhand. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. That channel is brilliant, and it's worth checking out. It's called Targeting Must End. Everyone on this call should check it out. What Targeting Must End, that channel specifies some really important points, okay? And one of the points that's specified on the channel Targeting Must End is that for every TI, we all have like this period where where we're targeted for like we're all targeted longer than we think we are. We're all watched longer than we think we are. But there's a period where we're watched, but we're not harassed and we're not manipulated. We're watched covertly and we're left alone. And
I agree with that.
right, right. Thank you. And what targeting must end, what they call that is they call that the non-victim phase of the targeting, right? And so all of us have probably experienced a non-victim phase of targeting, where somebody was watching us, but we didn't know, and we were just going along our merry way, kind of like living our lives. But in this non-victim phase, somebody was watching you, and somebody was studying you, and as they were studying you, they were slowly figuring out what is it that we need to do to make changes to this person's life, to get them to look like how we want them to present them, to get them to go where we want them to go, to torture them how we want to torture them. Do you all understand? Of course you do, because you're
Yeah, totally understand.
Totally understand, because you're all suffering from it, and I am suffering from it, and it's awful. Okay, so we all undergo these non-targeting phases. What was my non-targeting phase is probably the next question. So in 2017, I was the data analyst for the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. Okay, I had been there for I'd been working there since 2013. Okay, I was living with a girl, and we had been dating for probably like 5.5 years, 6.5 years, something along those lines. And I'd been dating this girl for like 6.5 years, and I was working at the Atlanta Symphony as a data analyst. Everything was good. Everything was good in my life. Okay, I was playing music in different bands, and it was all good. But what slowly started to happen, and I couldn't comprehend it at the time, was I started getting these thoughts in my head that just didn't make sense, and they were about my girlfriend. Like, I slowly started to realize, like, man, I really am starting to become interested in other girls, but I love my girlfriend. I love her. I want to marry her. I want to be with her forever. I think she's the best girl in the world. Like, she's perfect for me, and I don't know why I'm thinking this, but I slowly kept thinking to myself, like, like thoughts about my girlfriend, that were just not like characteristic of me, right? And I kept trying to put them to the side and not think about them. Then that was 2017, and then but it kind of snowballed. Like in 2017, like around Christmas of that year, I remember that was the first year I was with this girl for like 7.5 years, and I realized I don't really know what I want to get her for Christmas. Usually, I always knew. I was always listening to whatever Anna wanted, like whatever she wanted, like whatever. I would always try and like talk to her and be like, "What does she want for Christmas? What is it that she wants for Christmas? Like what would make her the happiest?" But suddenly 2017 came along, and I just couldn't think. I went to all the stores. I went to Pond City Market in Atlanta. I went to Little Five Points. I went everywhere. I'm from Atlanta. Okay, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, that's where I'm from. And that's where I live. And I just couldn't figure out what to get my girlfriend. So I just didn't really know. And we had a really tumultuous for a lot of reasons. Then 2018 was the first time in my life that I heard B2K. It was awesome.
Oh, you have the V2K also.
24/7.
Wow, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
24/7 V2K and 24/7 forced speech. We haven't even gotten there yet. The forced speech is awful. Let me explain.
So, you getting that? You getting that too?
Yeah.
I get that every time I'm alone. I get forced speech.
Absolutely. These people are trying to kill me, man, and they're doing
trying to make you get evicted. They're trying to make you lose your roommates. Trying to make you lose your housing. Trying to make you look crazy.
Yep. And they're doing a great job. So let me explain. In 2018, I was in my cubicle at the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, and I was just sitting there like doing a daily sales report, just doing some basic stuff. And I heard it in my head. I heard the V2K. I heard it say, "Kill yourself." And I just thought to myself, what? And then I heard it say again, kill yourself.
That's terrible.
It's awful. And I immediately went into my boss's office and I was like, dude, Russell, I keep hearing in my mind, like, kill yourself. I keep thinking I'm telling myself to kill myself. I don't know why. Like, I don't want to kill myself. Like, everything is going good. Like, why would I think this way? Like, and my boss was just like really upset, and he was like, Gokul, sometimes I think the same thing. And I was like, oh shit. And we just sat and we talked about it and we got really emotional and it was fun, you know. But I kept thinking to myself, or I kept hearing this V2K, kill yourself, right? I didn't get any V2K for a while after that. Then around September, my girlfriend and I broke up after a trip to Disneyland. I broke up with her.
Damn Disneyland does it every time.
It does it every time. We had a really weird time at Disneyland, and I broke up with her because I just felt like something was off about our relationship and wasn't working, and I just felt like this isn't right. And in retrospect, I broke up with her because I was under mind control. This woman was perfect for me.
I was going to say, yeah, you at the time you didn't know that for sure, yeah.
She was perfect for me. She's a perfect human being. Anna Theodore is a perfect human being. But we broke up because I broke up with her. And I broke up with her after a trip to Disneyland, and I just felt like, for a lot of like reasons that like were not actually her fault or my fault, but I was being manipulated into them via V2K, because in actuality what was happening was that I was being targeted by some nefarious entity that wanted to isolate me, and they did a great job. They made me break up with my girlfriend of 7.5 years. So then I broke up with her. Then I started talking to this woman who was like a friend of mine for like 5.5 years, for like a long time, and she was like an exceptionally beautiful woman, and we started talking, and we started striking up like a romantic conversation as well, and we eventually got down to the point where she was going to fly down from like from her place in New York to try and like spend some time with me in Atlanta, and she did, but the people who were gang stalking me, they made me fall asleep and leave her at the airport for an hour or two, and I didn't know. Like, I thought I just left her at the airport, but in actuality, they used the Lida machine, and they made me fall asleep and leave her at the airport. And
that's terrible.
It's bad, man. She had abandonment issues, and she was super hurt by it. And I didn't know that this was happening to me at the time. So that's what these people do. During the non-victim phase, what they do is these people dig you into this huge hole of slander and deceit that you have no idea what's happening if you're a targeted individual while it's happening to you. And it's really hard to climb your way back up from. It's really hard, right? And so I left her at the airport, and she came over, and it was great. But these people, like, they screwed me up that whole weekend. They made my sexual like organs not work the way they were supposed to. They really fucked me over, man. They really screwed me over, and she was really kind about it, but it just destroyed us. And so then I'm reeling in this situation where my 7.5-year relationship and this 5.5-year friendship, I'm losing both of these people at the same time all at once, and it's awful. Then over the course of 2020, like as a result of all of this change, I noticed my mind just doesn't work the same. I start having trouble at my cubicle counting to 30. Like I sit down and I'm trying to do work. I'm trying to do some Excel spreadsheets. I'm trying to do work. And it's just like no matter what I do, it's just like I can't get anything done the way I usually get it done. Like I know my Excel formulas. I know how to do programming. I know how to do data manipulation. I know how to do all of these things. But no matter what I try and do, I just can't get it done as quickly. And so then I think to myself, okay, but I'm in my cubicle. Let me take 30 seconds, and let me just try and count 30, And I'll try and count to 30 in my mind. And I can't do it. I can't count to 30. Like,
that's
I can't
wild.
go one. Yeah, man. I can't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't go up to 30. I keep skipping numbers, and I keep realizing, shit, it takes me like 5 tries to count to 30.
It's right around 2020 is when COVID hit. So what happened then?
Man, that was when it got crazy. So this is 2019. I'm telling you all this. Around 2020, that's when I started like realizing the gang stalking stuff started happening. I have this friend of mine who is like a pretty semi-famous musician. His name is Nelward. He was my friend at the time. Now we hate each other because he was definitely gang stalking me. His name is Nelward, and he is like a pretty famous musician. And I was like watching on his Twitter, like we were just talking to each other. We were friends. But then I was watching on his Twitter, and I was watching my ex-girlfriend's Twitter, and it seemed actually like him and my ex-girlfriend were interacting with each other and possibly romantically involved. And I was just watching on my Twitter, like, what is this? Is this happening? Is Nelward involved with like my ex-girlfriend? No way. So then I called him, and I was like, "Yo, are you hooking up with Anna?" And he said, "No, that's far-fetched. That's far-fetched. I don't have any sex." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." And as all that's happening, I'm starting to get this thought interference in March of 2020 that's unlike anything I've ever gotten before. So already I'm at the stage where I can't stop thinking about this other girl. And I'm getting all of this like.
Hang on one second. We got to figure out where that noise is coming from. Anybody know where that's coming? Tranquility, can you check that? We'll get it figured out in a moment.
I think I got it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry about that, Tranquility. Sorry about that, Gokul. Keep going.
It's okay. Thank you very much. So then, we got to that point where this person, they said that they denied any questioning that I had where he's like, "Are you hooking up with my ex?" It's okay. I mean, you're allowed to. Like, I can't stop you from doing that, but like, are you? Like, because this is weird. It feels like you're it feels like you're posting messages that are pointed at me, but isn't that crazy for me to think that your Twitter posts are pointed at me, especially when you have thousands of followers? It's like stupid for me to think that they're pointed at me, right? Like,
yeah, it happens that way at the beginning. You don't know what's reality and what's not, and then you get everything in reality twisted up.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like, you realize that the way these people are able to operate with their directed energy weapons is that they're able to utilize synchronicities. So this person who's like a famous or a semi-famous musical artist, he's able to send a message on Twitter that means one thing to like thousands of his followers and means one thing to me. And he knows it. And he knows what he's doing. And you would be surprised that like he would actually think that far ahead, but he does, because he's a gang stalker. And that's how disgusting gang stalkers are. And I wasn't able to get a confession out of him. Later on that year, I started receiving all kinds of throughout 2020, I started receiving all kinds of crazy symptoms. I started feeling murders telepathically on my body. I started feeling like women dying on my body. So I don't know to what effect am I allowed to talk about so basically, okay, I guess I'll just go ahead and do it.
A lot of it, you keep it PG because we're on YouTube and they're a little sensitive.
Okay, so basically, I felt women dying sexual deaths on my body.
They're doing the that's sex and death. That's Venatros. The band Venatros? Well, there's also a group of people called Venatros. It's called the Sex and Death group. And they twisted you all up with that. Venatism is the study of death, and Eros is the goddess of love. So.
Right. So that's the thing.
So they got you with that. Yeah, I figured they would do that.
They did. They made me feel that women were dying on my body, and and they made me think, and I was really afraid about the fate of women that I knew at that point, particularly my ex-girlfriend, particularly that girl that flew down from that I left at the airport, and tried to be with, and I was afraid that those people were in danger, and they kept making me think that those people were dying, and then like one day I called like another friend of mine who I kept getting messaging about that was hooking up with that one of the girls that I wanted to like hook up with it, and I was just like, hey, I don't really trust you right now, Xiaoming, but are we in danger? Are you in danger? Is something wrong? I keep getting these thoughts in my head. And he sounded really evil on the phone to me. And he behaved in a manner where it was just like he was either like receiving sex from the woman that he was from like one of the women that from one of the women that like I was like like broken up over, or he was trying to kill her, and I couldn't tell which one. So I immediately and then he said to me on the phone, Gokul, we're fucking your life up. And I was like, that's cool. And then he said, no, it's not. And I was like, what? And I immediately called the cops on him after that.
Well, the music industry has the Illuminati element to it. They talk to me all the time about musicians and actors and actresses. Talk about star smashing or whatever. Yeah, it's common.
Absolutely. So that happened to me. Like that person's in a in a band, and after that, like basically I was in this position where like I immediately called the cops on them, and I said, hey, this person's trying to kill this girl, because I wasn't sure what was going on. And then the cops didn't open his door, they didn't search him or anything, and eventually I got sent into a psych ward. And then what started to happen was I started, like, the whole time I was getting thought transference, and then I started to get radiated all of the time with directed energy weapons. And so basically what happened to me was like there was this situation where like I was manipulated into doing into doing, thinking, and saying a bunch of things that would like make me seem crazy towards a bunch of people. But after that, they started frying me with directed energy weapons, and they started.
What year did the directed energy weapons start? What, 2021?
2020.
2020. Okay, keep going.
So basically, I was manipulated into quitting my job at the ASO, into breaking up with my girlfriend of 7.5 years, into fucking up with this other girl that I knew for 5.5 years, and then they like made me they made me like they fried me. They made me like like call the cops on people for doing stuff that they were actually doing to me, but that I couldn't prove. And then they sent me to a psych ward for a week, and I couldn't do anything.
Oh wow, that's terrible.
So I went to
can we take one little break for a message from one of our supporters of the call, if you don't mind? Yeah, it's the people at Cyber Shield. Matter of fact, David Rubel himself will be here next week to talk to you guys, and here's a little advertisement for Cyber Shield. Check it out.
Do you have a box of worthless shielding material that doesn't work? Have you paid professionals only to come out on the short end of the stick? Well, your life is about to change. Visit cybershieldinfo.com to crack the code on a shielding device that actually works. The Cyber Shield is a computer that fights the perps with a dose of cracked code. Would you like to have an in-person demonstration of the Cyber Shield? Come to the San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley for a free demo. Get your Cyber Shield at cybershieldinfo.com. That's cybershieldinfo.com, and change your life.
That's cybershieldinfo.com. Now back to Gokul. Yeah, that's just crazy. So you're 2020, you got the directed energy weapons hitting you now. You lost your job. You've lost your girls. Keep going.
Yeah, so that's happened in 2020, and after I go to the psych ward, I immediately call like a friend of mine, and I decide I need to leave Atlanta. This is terrible. So I don't know what's happening. I don't get it at all. And so I go to Puerto Rico, and I moved to Puerto Rico for like 4 months, and I have a great time. I make a bunch of music there, and it's awesome. Then I come back to Atlanta. And when I come back to Atlanta in the middle of that year, because I'm trying to finish up a college degree, that's when I started realizing, oh my God, I'm getting fried with and I don't really know how to describe what's happening to my skin, and I'm trying to Google about mind control, but Google keeps saying that mind control is not real. I don't know if it's real. So how are these things happening in my mind? How is all this happening? How am I getting all of these random thoughts about people? Can I just not control my mind? Am I crazy? But eventually, or by October 2021, that's when I first realized, oh shit, gang stalking. This is a real thing. Mind control. This is a real thing. I watched the Vice documentary, and I realized this is an actual thing that's happening to people. People are actually getting hit with directed energy weapons, and they're actually getting mind controlled for no reason at all, aside from for-profit smear campaigns that are designed to exploit human beings. That's pretty much all it is. It's just, I'll say it again, it's for-profit smear campaigns that are designed to exploit human beings. So basically, everyone that's a targeted individual on this call is a patsy. We're all just being destroyed.
No, it's true. We got 51 people now in the call, so got a good crowd.
It's awful, and so I realized that, and I was getting fried really hard, and that was the first time, in 2021, that I realized, what if I tried aluminum foil? That's what I see in all the movies. What if I just wrapped myself up in aluminum foil, and I tried it out? And then I tried wrapping myself in aluminum foil, and oh my God, it worked. It actually stopped. The parts of my bodies that were wrapped in aluminum foil, they didn't hurt as much. They didn't hurt. They didn't feel as hot. They didn't feel as radiated. And that was one of the scariest days of my life. And then that led on to a stretch of time where I start going to sleep with aluminum foil wrapped up on my legs and my arms and my body and my waist, my torso, and it's awful. It's fucking awful. All the while I'm getting this weird thought transference, and I don't know if any of it's real, and I can't verify it. And it's not V2K yet. It's thought transference. And the difference between V2K and thought transference is when with thought transference you're experiencing these non-verbal thoughts, right? They're non-verbal, but you're able to derive meaning out of the feelings that your body is experiencing. You're able to tell what these feelings mean, but it's not verbal, right? The verbal part of it is coming from you. Whereas with V2K, the verbal part of it is coming from somebody else, right? Or something else. It's different. So that's how that was at that point. Then the year went on, and then 2022 happened. 2021 was a really crazy year because there were stretches during 2021 where they made me drive around in my car, and they would make the blood in my body. They would manipulate the blood in my body, and they would move the blood to the top of my head. And what they would do is they would make me say certain words that they would think of a theme in my head, and they would make me think of certain words that were synonyms of the theme that they were thinking of. And if I didn't say the words, they would move blood to the top of my head and make it feel like my head was about to explode. But if I did say the words that I thought of, then they would move the blood back down. And so what they were doing was they were collecting data on me. They were collecting data on my thought process. They were collecting data on how...
Correct. That's what they're doing. It's a brain initiative.
Absolutely. fucked, man. It's like awful. So what they would do is I would just drive around like the mall, drive around like town, drive around from gas station to gas station, from Barnes and Noble to Barnes and Noble, like just like saying words like stupendous, awful, like wonderful, terrific, like just saying this stuff, hollering it in my car, because the more I said these words, the less the blood would rush to the top of my head. But the more I didn't say them, the more the blood would rush to the top of my head. And so what they were doing was they were trying to figure out exactly how I would articulate depending on different situations. And they would create symptoms of physical discomfort if I didn't respond to their demands. And that way they could coerce me into like giving data on how I would respond in different situations. And they could collect that data, and they would be able to create I guess like algorithms based more on my natural disposition and more on
Man, you are very knowledgeable, by the way. Keep going.
Sure, but that's what they did, man. It's awful. I'm only knowledgeable because these people...
You experienced it, and you learned about it, yes.
They screwed the shit out of me, man. Like, and so that's 2021, okay? Then 2022 is a whole nother thing, okay? So 2022, I'm back in school, okay? Like after work, and I try to go back to school. I'm trying to finish my college degree. I'm playing jazz in a jazz combo. I'm a musician. That's what I do. That's like my life, okay? So I'm a musician. I go, to a jazz combo, and I'm playing, and I get in my car, and I'm outside of a Barnes and Noble in my car, and they say to me, "Hi," and that's when I first start getting 24/7 V2K, around February 22nd, 2022, around that date. A little bit past that date, I'm in my car outside of a Barnes & Noble, and they say to me, "Hi, we consider you a formidable opponent," which is a joke. They don't. They have neuro weapons, and I don't. They don't consider me a formidable opponent. They think I'm a joke. But they say, "We consider you a formidable opponent. If you go into that Barnes & Noble that you're outside of right now, we have cops waiting in there right now. We're going to frame you for the murder of Stephanie," which is a girl I used to know. And I was like, "What?" And they were just like, "Yes, we're going to frame you for the murder of Stephanie." And I was just like freaked out. And I was like, "Huh?" And they said, "If I were you, I would take off your license plate right this minute and drive as far as you can." And I was like a rookie TI still at that point, because this has only been happening to me for like 1 or 2 years at that point. So I didn't take off my license plate, but I basically just drove as far as I could. I turned off the location services, and I turned off the map on my phone. I turned off like the Wi-Fi and the cell phone services on my phone, and I just drove as far as I could from Georgia to West Virginia. And I drove up to West Virginia, and then I got up to West Virginia, and I'm driving. I'm sober. I'm completely sober. I haven't had any alcohol at this point. And I turned a little bit to the left, and I'm on the highway, and I flipped my car over, and I break my spine and my sternum.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So I'm there, in a hospital in West Virginia, living in Atlanta, with a broken spine and a sternum, and I call my parents, and they bring me back to Atlanta, and they say, "We really want you to go to a mental hospital." And I'm just like, fuck no, I'm not going to go to a mental hospital again. I don't want to do that. We've tried that, and it didn't do anything. I'm already deemed not a danger to myself or society because they let me out of the mental hospital. I'm deemed sane. I don't know what the hell is going on. So then I had a friend of mine who let me stay with her for 2 weeks, and so I stayed at her place, and I had some money saved up, so then I got a place. But throughout that time, I started getting 24/7 V2K. In February through March of 2022, that's when I started getting 24/7 V2K. And what I started realizing over the course of the V2K, what was happening is that people were telling me lies about other people and trying to force me to believe them. Once they were able to get sound bites out of me where they were able to verify that I believed them, even though I didn't actually believe them. They went and they told people around me that I believed that these lies that they told me. And then they told these people lies about me, and they used my responses as ways to get these people around me to believe lies about me. Does that make sense what I'm saying, DJ Chris?
Kinda.
Kind of. So basically, let me explain. The V2K, it's used to lie to me and about me, and it's used to lie to other people.
Oh, so do you think subconsciously it was inserted in their brain to not think highly of you for some reason, perhaps?
No, it's more just like
they were actually doing V2K to other people subconsciously, perhaps?
They are. There's a concept. See, another thing that I did like later on was I took this course called The Complexities of Diagnosing Ritual Abuse and Mind Control. It's on the International Society of the Studies of Disassociation and Trauma. Great site. It's a nonprofit organization that's like an international organization that you can rely upon to study a lot of DID type of situations. And the course is again called The Complexities of Diagnosing Ritual Abuse and Mind Control. And in that course, basically what happened is, what I realized is that there's a concept called Wizard of Oz programming. And with Wizard of Oz programming, and I want every TI to pay really close attention to what I'm saying. Wizard of Oz programming means that they're using directed energy weapons on you to make sure that you follow a certain path, okay? And you stay on a certain path that they calculate. But what that means is that if you go off the path, everything in your life is going to go haywire to force you back onto that path that the gang stalkers want you to be on. What does that mean, TIs? What that means is that everybody in your life is experiencing directed energy, whether you know it or not, whether they know it or not. Everybody in your life is under mind control. And you can't stop it, and you can't convince them of it. And that's the situation. That's what all TIs are facing. So when people are gaslighting you, they're not always doing it to hurt you. They're not always doing it because they're evil. They might actually be doing it because they are getting hit with directed energy weapons, and they cannot. Like I want you all to consider, what does a neuro weapon do? A neuro weapon is meant to mimic, block, or alter your neural processes, right? Again, mimic, block, or alter your neural process. So if you have a friend of yours that's getting hit with a neuro weapon, there's a really great chance, 99% chance, that they're not going to know, right? And so you're going to tell them you're experiencing all of these things. You're sure you're getting hit with mind control. You're sure you're experiencing V2K. You're sure that no matter what you do, you cannot stop smoking cigarettes. You cannot stop drinking alcohol. There's nothing you can do. But they're going to tell you that they're sure that the problem is with you. And it's so unfair to you. It's so unfair.
Crazy. Well, we're running on our schedule. We're going to start asking people to ask you questions. I did play, and my floor manager was just asking me if we played a commercial earlier. But we'll have question and answer session now, if you don't mind, and people can ask you questions. Is that okay?
Of course.
Anybody have a question for Gokul? Come on in. It's DJ Chris, TargetedWest. He is a musician, and he gets V2K, and he's also telling us his story. Do you have any questions in the audience for him before we proceed?
I have a question. Hi.
Go
I'm
ahead,
Minnie.
Minnie.
Hey Gokul. How are you?
I'm okay. What's your name again?
Well, I have my own call. My moniker is Minnie.
Minnie?
Minnie, like I'm innocent. Minnie-cent.
Minnie. Okay, like you're very small. Okay. Hi. Nice. Except you're not. Very nice.
Hey, Mickey. I have a question for you.
Sure.
I love music. I'm not a musician, but I know how to play music. Music is my life. do you use music and frequency music and sound bathing and all that stuff to heal yourself, or do you do any like musical healing?
So, that's a really great question. In all of this conversation that I had, I spoke very little about music. Music is my life, just as you mentioned that it's yours. What I would say is like there's this there's a standard like TI answer of like using binaural beats as like a mechanism to put yourself into like a more desirable or a more like a tolerable headspace with which that you can function. But also your relationship with music as a targeted individual, if you're experiencing V2K, it changes a lot. If you're a normal person and your brain works normally, and you practice the guitar for 30 minutes, or you sing for 30 minutes, or you do whatever it is. I'm a guitar teacher. I'm a professional guitar teacher. Most of my money comes from making and playing music. I just want to let you guys know that. I teach at the Guitar Center. Like I'm legit. Like I'm actually like a musician.
Yeah, we know you are.
Thank you very much. Like I didn't mean to like say it like that. I'm just trying to explain you can listen to what I'm saying about this. So like, if you practice the guitar and you're of sane, normal body and mind, and you're not experiencing neural interference, what happens? What tends to happen is your brain starts to like accelerate musically the more you practice, and you start to just hear melodies in your head, and you start to develop better musical reflexes. So you hear a sound, right? And you don't just hear the sound and hear it and react to it passively. You hear a sound and then you want to like react to it actively with another sound, right? Like and you tend to want to just like, you hear a sound and then you immediately think to yourself of like, what is the next sound that you play against that sound, right?
Well, it's funny because that's what I do in DJing. I mix MP3s now on virtual DJ, and I go by rhythm, sound, in the tempo, mixing, and key. So.
Exactly. Like, musicians, like, the more they practice their instruments, the better they get at reacting to external stimuli, right? But if you're experiencing V2K, they take that away from you. They fuck you up. They don't let you be as crafty at responding to external stimuli because they're bombarding you all the time with messaging, right? So your question again was, do you use like sounds, or do you use frequencies, or do you use music to help you in your healing? Did I have that question correctly?
That's right. That's what Minnie asked.
So no, that was my question. But really, okay. you answer the way you like. You don't have to answer exactly as I said it.
To answer that question, there's an app. I don't know if you can see my screen right now, but there's an app on iOS, which is a pretty solid app. It's called Ooh. I'll pull it up right now, and so you can see it on my screen. Ooh, yeah, it looks like this. Ooh, and it's got this ghost on it. And you can use this app to like create binaural beats. And so when you're just trying to hang out and chill out, it'll add white noise, which is really good at scrambling the signals, apparently, or one of the more effective ways of scrambling the signals of like the neural interference that you'll receive. Plus, you can use this the bar here to like adjust the frequency to create like settings anywhere from energized focus to deep sleep to daydreaming / visualization. So this is a great way to accomplish a good headspace.
How do you spell the name of that app?
It's literally just a bunch of O's. Let me spell it for you right now.
Oh, okay.
Anyone who has iOS can find it. Let me find it for you. Let me spell it for you correctly, okay? I'm going to make sure I get it correct for you.
You can put it in the chat room if you want.
I can do that.
Or you spell it out on the microphone too, because we're on Spotify also.
Yeah, it's literally O. It's just 5 O's, okay?
5 O's, gotcha.
Yeah, 5 O's.
Awesome, thank you.
Type that into iOS or type that into Android, you'll find it. It's sick. It's a really good app, and it's not even the only one. There's other binaural beats apps, but I like this one. It's got like a good white noise and brown noise option, and those white noise and brown noise options really help scramble signals. Now, again, I'm a musician, and I want to talk very as coherently as I can after or rather about the reality of what this does to you. like if you hear constant V2K, but you practice your instrument a lot, what happens is it's going to shape your musicality in a different way. Your musicality isn't going to be based on like the melodic, the kind of lush melodic contour that like your brain would naturally conjure as a result of like practicing. What you're instead going to do, in my opinion at least, in my experience, is you're going to come up with musical ideas that are based on your restlessness, that are based on your ability to withstand torture. So you're going to be experiencing torture as a DI, right? No doubt about it. 24/7 V2K, radiation, all kinds of symptoms, murders on your body, like synthetic rape, everything that you would like think about. Like these are all things I experience. These are all things you probably experience. I'm so sorry for you, and I'm so sorry for myself, and I want justice for all of us. Okay, but
thank you. Can we go to the next question now in the audience? Anybody have a question for Gokul? Come on in.
Do you ever use like singing bowls or anything like that, or found it to be effective against V2K?
Singing bowls?
Yeah,
those are the
or
type
like
of bowls that make
like,
a vibration. Yeah, you can use them as a way of comforting yourself.
No, I've never tried that, and I've never heard of that. Let me look it up right now. Singing bowls.
yeah,
What a cool...
like it's a Tibetan practice, I guess, or I don't know, Eastern, I guess.
No,
right, Eastern Tibetan. Yeah, I've heard of it too. Yes.
Have you heard of it? Have you tried it?
I have not, but people who do sound therapy use it a lot.
They swear by it. I've been wanting to buy a set, but it's expensive. But there was one lady in one of the V2K groups who said it helped, and I was just curious.
No, I've never tried it, but that sounds so awesome. These look beautiful on the internet. What I'm seeing, but they kind of look a little expensive.
Oh yeah.
And it's really quite a beautiful art. Well, thank you for the question. Next question for Gokul. Come on in.
Is that app in the Google Play Store, Gokul?
Let me look it up for you right now. I don't know, but I know it's in iOS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me see. Google Play. Ooh, I'll look it up for you right now. We'll all look it up for you. You need to know. It looks like it's got 5 O's, and I'm gonna be honest for you. It doesn't come up in the first search. I'm on a Mac though, so I don't know.
Okay, but it is an iOS.
Yeah, it's got 5 O's, and it's got this tiny ghost on it, like this tiny green ghost on it. It's really cute. It's a really cute ghost, and I think you'd like it. And it'll help you. Yeah, I'm sorry you're experiencing V2K. Okay.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found it.
Oh, she found it. Right.
Mhm.
Good.
Thank you.
I hope it helps you. Okay. I hope it does anything.
That's cool beans. Next question for Gokul. Come on in now. Don't worry. He'll be back again in a couple months to talk to you again.
Absolutely.
Cool. Come on in. Ask Gokul about music, about V2K, about solutions. Got 60 people, but everyone's shy. That's okay. No worries.
Maybe
you want to wrap this up, Gokul, and continue speaking about we made it to 2023 so far, and I guess now you're on the conference calls talking about it and helping people with solutions. So you've come a long way.
I don't. It's hard to say where I am right now, but something I can say is like what started to happen, I realized, is as I was getting V2K, right? Like, I started to realize, holy shit, the people that are watching me, they don't know what I'm actually thinking. Whoever is doing the V2K to me, they're playing thoughts in my head and telling me that those are the thoughts that they're playing in my head, but they're actually playing different thoughts other people who are watching me. And so the people who are watching me have no idea what I'm actually thinking, even though they do, even though they think they do. And this is what happens to TIs. If you start to if TIs start to realize, oh my gosh, why isn't this guy calling me back anymore? Why isn't this girl calling me back anymore? What the hell is going on? What could be happening is that a person that's watching you is thinking that they're watching you and thinking that they know what you're thinking, but they don't actually know what you're thinking. And this is a concept I call concurrent narrative and linguistic manipulation for the purposes of synchronized harassment and destabilization. Okay? One of my friends, they explained to me in a really clear way that if somebody is trying to manipulate you, what they're going to do is they're going to tell you a little bit of the truth, a tiny bit of what's true, so that you hear that tiny bit, but you also hear a bunch of lies, and that you react in a way that's conducive with the falsehoods that they're trying to create around you, right? V2K is used for this purpose, and TIs don't realize that. It's not just to harass you. It's not just to make sure that you have a difficult time taking a shower, or that you have a difficult time on your Excel spreadsheet, or that you have a difficult time playing the guitar. It's so that so that you hear lies people are telling about you, but you don't know if they're true, but you've heard them now because you're hearing them telepathically. And then you think about them, and you might talk about them. And just by the sheer fact that you've thought about them and talked about them, you implicate yourself. And that's what V2K is used for.
That's wild.
It's awful. It's disgusting what these people are doing to TIs. We are innocent people, and we have no desire to hurt anybody or do anything wrong. That is what V2K is used for, okay? And it's disgusting. It's not just to harass you. It's not just to fill your head with your voices. It's to fill the ecosystem around you with lies, okay? And you're going to be accused of a lot of different types of crimes, and you won't even know. But you'll be hearing them in your head, and you won't think they're real, and you'll talk about them casually or think about them casually. And even you thinking about them to yourself and saying them out loud to yourself when no one else is watching is enough to convince somebody else that's watching you without your knowledge or consent that you are guilty of something that you're not. And suddenly that person that you didn't know was watching you or didn't know would ever betray you stops picking up the phone when you call them. This is why TI is
That's amazingly deep. That's something we could talk about on the next session we get together. We need to move on to a quick message from our supporter here at Targeted West. If you don't mind, just take a moment, and then we'll wrap it up and move over to the book club, which is coming up in a couple moments.
Chris, I've been hosting events for targeted individuals, but no one ever comes.
You need TIevents.org. It's where TIs find all the events, conference calls, meetups, webinars.
How do I get listed?
Just go to TIevents.org. It's easy. TIevents.org, where the TI community connects. List your event today.
That's TIevents.org. Tranquility is helping us as the co-host tonight. We appreciate her time and her effort. We need to switch to the book club now, if you don't mind. Gokul, will you be here afterwards?
I will, man. Thank you so much.
Okay, it'll be a few more minutes. We'll just a couple minutes with the book club. And
is it okay if I turn off my screen?
What's that?
Is it okay if I turn off my screen for this?
You can turn your screen off now if you'd like. It'd be perfect.
I'm going to stay right here, though.
Very cool.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to talk about the book club now, and Cash Patel's book.
It's time for the TI Book Club, where every book opens a door to new worlds and shared journeys. Here, we uncover hidden gems, specially selected for TIs, and always within your reach. Be part of a community that reads together, grows together, and sees the world through the same lens. Don't just listen to stories, live them with us. Join now at bookclubs.com/TIBookClub/join, and let's turn the pages of adventure together.
Yes, the book club meeting is now. We are at 194 members of the book club. And this week's book, for the next 2 weeks actually, is going to be the book by Kash Patel, who is now the FBI director. It's called Government Gangsters, and it's The Deep State, the Truth, and the Battle for Democracy. Kash Patel again. We gave it a 7. Some people liked it, some didn't. And of course, it is a popular book. I know a lot of people that are reading it. So it's kind of interesting to read it now and then see him as the director of the FBI. So kind of a twist. So check that book out. That's in the book club right now. We have about 138 books in the library or more. We just added 2 new books today, and Kash Patel's book will be here next week for you to talk about. Basically went over his history of his childhood and how they go out and get butter chicken, and his dad and he weren't vegetarians and their mom didn't like that. So, and then it goes on about how he worked for the district attorney and then the state attorney and went federal. So it's quite a good book. It's quite a great description about how he is going to uncover the deep state. My telepathy has said they're the deep state sometimes, and or other things. But anyway, again, this Kash Patel's book is in the book club. We're going to stop the recording now and let you go on about your day. I thank you for watching us, whether it be on Spotify, you're listening there, and you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, BitChute, or archive.org. Thank you. Please subscribe, like, and make a comment, and I will comment back. If you have a message for me to get a hold of me, DJ Chris at TargetedWest.com. Thank you for watching this video.
Man,
You see
it
it?
is so